Welcome back to the Living Room Podcast with your host, Adriann. This girl, me. It's me. I'm the host. Y'all, listen. Today is December the 10th. It is one day after my birthday. And listen, I am showing up anyway. That's what I'm doing. I am showing up anyway. If y'all are watching me on YouTube, the light is not lighting today. And the person that I am, the A-type perfectionist person that I am, I have to address it because the light is not lighting. I've been playing with this light for like 15, 20 minutes trying to get it to light and do what it usually does, but I don't know why. I don't know why the light isn't lighting. But I'm showing up anyway. I'm going to do this podcast anyway. So if that light at any point in time bothers you, do me a favor, just put the phone down and just listen to it cuz we need the views, okay? My YouTube family, we need the views. But yeah, anyways, let's try to ignore the light. The light ain't lighting, but anyways, I got an epiphany in that moment. First of all, I don't have no script for y'all. I don't know where we're gonna go. We just vibing today. This is a vibey episode. It probably is gonna be so vibey, and with the light not being my friend today, it could have probably just been audio only. But your girl just had a maintenance appointment on the hair. So I just had to, somebody else had to see it other than my husband because my kids won't get to see it. I'm going to put this hair up into some pin curls. The public probably won't see it for the rest of the week. So somebody needed to see it other than my man. Yeah, so that's where we are today. We're probably just going to vibe today. We're going to reflect a little. As I mentioned, I got an epiphany just now as I was getting ready to go ahead and record. This season of my life, as I mentioned, my birthday was yesterday. This season of my life is looking like just showing up anyway, just doing it anyway, because the light is not lighting. The light, quite frankly, is pissing me off. However, I cannot allow that to take me away from whatever it is that I'm supposed to do or say in this episode. Again, I don't have a script. I didn't write out anything. I didn't really plan anything. I knew that I wanted to do a birthday episode. The birthday episode was supposed to be actually recorded on my birthday, but yesterday was a very busy day for me nonetheless. I had a lunch with my daughter at her school. I caught a flat on my birthday, which was very disrespectful of the universe, might I add. My son had basketball. It was my birthday still, so there were birthday festivities that needed to be done with the family. It was a lot of moving parts to yesterday. So nonetheless, the episode did not get to be recorded on that day. And I'm realizing actively in this moment that all of those like roadblocks and those hurdles that were thrown at me for all intents and purposes of knowing myself and knowing how I am in those overstimulated situations, I know now that they were intended to just make me say, forget it, I'm not going to record at all. Granted, I didn't record yesterday, but I also had a rocky little shift this morning. My tire situation was still ongoing. We got that taken care of with one tire, and then there was another tire as I was heading home that triggered an issue. So it was like frustration after frustration, like small things, right? That usually I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm not dealing with it. I don't care anymore. Let's just put today in a bag and start over tomorrow. But instead, I'm here. And I had a conversation with my husband. I called him and I was telling him, like, oh, I got the tire fixed, blah, blah, blah. As I'm talking to him, telling him the tire's been fixed, that's when the other tire started happening. And we're just talking and going back and forth and bantering. And he said something to me that really just made me like put things in perspective. And that was that we can't afford to complain about our high class problems. And I'm probably butchering that. I don't think that's verbatim how he said it. It was way better than what I said. But basically, just saying, like, someone else in the world has serious, hard, life altering situations. And what we're dealing with is a high class issue. Like, someone would love to have to worry about getting a tire replaced or getting a tire patched or anything of that nature. And he did it in such a loving way, to where it really just calmed me down in that moment. And I was like, okay, you know what, you're actually right. Things could be a whole lot worse. I could have died in my sleep and not have celebrated my birthday yesterday. I could be homeless. I could be, I don't know, facing time in life in the jail. Like, I don't, it could be a million other things that I know I wouldn't want to do. So you're right. And I think with that, for me, being able to just hear him say that, it just brings me so much calmness and like balance, because I am very much a person where I get overstimulated so fast. But however, I also thrive with a lot of stuff on my plate or a lot of things going on at one time. Like, it doesn't even really make sense when I say it out loud. I understand. But if you agree with me, if you are one of those people, then that's the community I belong in, where it's like, I love being the person that wears all the hats. I love being the person that can show up and can help other people. I love that. But then also, when it's my stuff, I get so overstimulated. I'm like, I don't want to do it. And I shut down. Like, I just need time. And usually that's what I would have done on a day like today and yesterday. Between it happening yesterday on my birthday and then happening again today when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try again, it probably would have been close season for the rest of 2025. In the few 21 days that we have left in this year, I probably would just be like, yeah, no, new year, new me, I'll start then. However, I'm here. So this chapter of my life is called consistency. This chapter of my life is going to be called just showing up, even if I don't know the answers, even if I don't know how I'm going to do it, even if I don't really have anything to share. Just show up, because I think that it's in those beautiful moments where things become way more organic and they also become way more meaningful. And I think I hinted at that in the last episode that I did, where it's like, you don't understand a thing until you're in a thing. And then once you're in that thing, everything starts to make more sense. Kind of like that reference I said about the passage in Psalms where God will be a light unto our path and he'll just be there for us if we let him, if we allow him. So I am so grateful that the light, oh, that's cute. Nice little connection. I'm so grateful that I was able to have my partner, my person, my man, my husband in that moment to just bring that reassurance back to me and to give me that, because it definitely is a balance that I personally know that I need. And he is just so great at doing that. So, anyways, that's what happened. So I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, but all in all, my birthday was great. I had a really good time. Just being able to be loved on and to honestly just kind of like reflect. Like, for me, birthdays have always been, not always, let me not say always. I want to say like around the age of 16 is when I really started like caring or taking my birthday seriously. Like, my birthdays really became like a real festivity for me, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Like, that was when I just started taking my birthday serious. When I was 16, I believe it could be because that's when I started planning my own birthday parties or my own birthday events, whatever. I don't know. So, anyways, needless to say, I've always been like very like, I want to do this for my birthday. I want to do that for my birthday. I know a couple years ago when Act One first came out, Beyonce fans, when Act One first came out with Renaissance, I did this whole like weekend and I called it Renaissance. And then after that or before that, I did something else. Like, I would just plan these, not like insanely big events because it wasn't like moving productions. However, it was always me doing something. Like, I would ask my friends, can y'all travel into town? Can we do this? Can we get the Airbnb? Can we book this? Would y'all come? Would y'all do it? Doing dinners, doing, parties or something. It was always something that I was doing on my birthday from the age of 16. And then this year, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to relax. I wanted to relax. I wanted to be still. I didn't want to do anything at all. I took off the entire week from my 9 to 5 because I just wanted to recharge myself mentally and also get refreshed because the Christmas holiday is upon us. So I know I have to pick back up and get things done around the house and deep clean and Christmas shop and prep and cook and all the stuff. So I did want to give myself time to just kind of like relax and recharge. And even in that moment, it was like I kind of like the old part of me was like, you should do something this weekend with the girls, or you should invite the girls and have a whole like theme. Like, I would come up with themes and itineraries and the whole nine. And this year, I didn't have a desire to do any of that. And I think it is just because my life has changed so much in this past year. Don't get me wrong. I love hanging out with my friends. I love the opportunity to banter and do the things. However, I am able to distinguish this change in me where being being still is a top priority for me. Even in basic life, like on the weekends with my husband, I used to want to, babe, let's go do this. Let's go eat here. Let's go look at that. Let's go do this. And I still love and enjoy those things. However, I am very much, can we just lay in the bed and watch Dateline? Can we just lay in the bed and I just be here with you and you watch college football? Because my husband is also very on the go, moving, moving, moving like an energizer bunny. So when you put two people together like that who are very much, if you want to do it, I can do it too type of vibe, you're always going to go. And it's great. I love that. However, I do appreciate how we both lately have just been in a season of stillness. And for me personally, I enjoy it because I am able to see things from a different vantage point in this season of stillness. So being able to just not have any major distractions on my birthday itself, even leading up to that, like the weekend, I spent it with my family. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Just having that different kind of balance, it makes me very happy about just where I'm headed in this next chapter of my life, where God has me, and it makes me curious to what is more to come because I've always personally needed some type of filler to have something going on. Like, I always had to almost have something going on so I wasn't distracted by maybe a trauma or a trigger or a situation that I wasn't dealing with or I wasn't addressing. And now to finally just be like, I have nothing to do. Like, after I left my hair appointment and I was talking to my hairstylist, and I'm like, I'm about to go do something. I don't have any errands to run. I don't have anything to do. My husband's at work. My kids are at school. My house is clean. I just usually not having something to do and just not being busy would torment and would scare the heck out of me, because that mean I then had to sit down with some ugly truths that were probably in my closet somewhere. And in this season of life where I'm truly just at peace with where God has me and the things that He's doing, it's like, okay, I have nothing to do. Yeah, I'm irritated about my tire, but I'm not going to let that derail me from doing the podcast, because I do want to be more consistent in this area, in this platform. I want to build the audience to where I can help others and people can help me, because this isn't a one-way street for me. This is definitely a two-way street. We can eventually make this a four-lane type of situation as we continue to grow and just build the audience and the community. I want my living room to grow. I want it to be filled with people who have had different experiences than I have had, who've learned life lessons that I haven't experienced yet, to where you can bring your life lesson and my life lesson. We can meet and we can make a manual on this thing called life, and we can figure it out together. So being able to just be still enough in my personal life to where the small things don't become noise for me, and I'm still able to sit down and make an episode with no script, no anything. That is very refreshing for me, and I'm very proud of myself that I am able to do that. That is like a really big thing for me, and I'm very proud of myself because, child, 4 years ago, for sure, 4 years ago, I everything would have just been over. Life would have ended if I would have gotten hit with roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And to not be in that mind space anymore is just so, it's just so incredible to me. Okay, so my birthday was yesterday. I've been able to, in the past, I would say 4 months, I've seen a huge amount of growth in myself, a huge amount of perspective switching. And I personally believe that our perspective and how we look at things is one of the keys to unlocking the destiny that God has for us. Because if your perspective is not where it needs to be, if you don't have a positive perspective, if you don't have a positive outlook on life, everything is going to seem bad. Everything is going to seem like it's an attack. Everything, quite frankly, might even seem very personal. So I I've worked really hard on just trying to change my perspective, how I look at things, how I view things, how I interpret things, cuz how you see something and how you interpret something definitely can be different. So I've been trying really hard to just work on, like, okay, how am I interpreting that? How does that make me feel? And then look at the logical aspect of it, because a lot of times that's what really triggers us, or messes us up in psyching ourselves out of something, or just any of the multitude of reasons why we would just feel away. So the way that I've been just trying to handle everything in my life for the past 4 months particularly is just looking at it with the glass half full. As I mentioned, like my husband needing to, kind of like calm me down and say, hey, things could be a lot worse, basically, in so many words. And just being there and shifting my perspective, and putting my focus back where it needs to be, like those kind of moments, they do help me. They do genuinely bring me back almost to like a sense of purpose, I guess is what I could call that. And just realigns me. It realigns me with where I need to be, where I'm trying to go, what the thing is that I'm looking at. And I really hope that in this season of life, everyone is doing that. And when I say this season of life, I mean like this time of year, because I know that it is very, very hard to sometimes stay grateful and stay appreciative when you have so much going on, and you're looking at the imaginary clock of time, and you're measuring yourself up to what you wish you would have done already, and what you wish you could have done or didn't do, as the year begins to kind of just drift away from us, because we are so close to the new year. If God is willing to grant us a new year, we're so close to it. So it's easy to get caught in translation, or to get caught up in the mumbo jumbo of what you didn't do or what you don't have, and you lose focus on, like, oh, okay, well, this worked out, or that worked out, or I was able to achieve this. So I really just hope that everyone is able to stay focused on the things that matter, stay focused on where they are headed, and also having a clear indication or a clear path of, like, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Do you understand that? Have you written your vision, and have you made it plain? So if you met a stranger today or tomorrow, they would be able to help you out. They would be able to provide you with the resources that you need. They will be able to give you the insight that you need, give you the grace that you need. Have you done all those things? Have you done the hard work? Have you showed up consistently? Even when the light wasn't lighting, even when you didn't have it in you, did you still do it anyway? And that is what I am currently actively learning to do, is to just still do it anyway. Because if I have learned nothing at all this past year, I have definitely learned that you are not the only one with that dream. You are not the only one with that goal. Granted, everybody's dreams and goals might look slightly different in the way they maneuver them and they execute them, but at the end of the day, everybody got dreams, everybody got goals. How are you going to accomplish yours? What's going to make you stand out from person A and person B? What is going to be the difference? So you have to differentiate yourself, and your passion has to be there, your work ethic has to be there, your ability to do things and to be flexible and to show up at hard times has to be there. How are you showing up in that area of your life? And that's just really what I've been actively working on, is how I show up. For example, how I show up in this podcast space. This is not, it's not easy, but it's also not hard to do. But it also, I think for me, because I know my intention behind it, because I know what my vision is for it, it adds a little bit of pressure to me, because I do feel like I have this thing that I can see it, but I can't touch it because I'm not there yet. And I'm just learning again to be still, to be patient, to be in the moment, to not rush it. Because if you rush something before it's time for you to have it, you're either not going to have it long or you're just going to mess it up anyway. So it's just better to just be there in that moment, in the moments that you're given, and just do what you can with what you have. So that's what I've been really learning. And that's what I'm just trying to honestly do better with in this next season of my life, because I know what I want. I know that the positioning that I am currently in is not by default. I don't think it's just a random positioning or a random heart posture that I decided to take this year, is to just slow down and be still. I think that everything is with intention, and I just want to be able to manage whatever it is that is getting ready to come my way. Whether it's good or whether it's a roadblock, I want to be able to manage both of them either way it comes. Because if you can manage your roadblocks, you can manage the open sesame as well. You can manage those yeses. If you can manage a no, you can manage a yes. And I just want to get really better at managing my no's. But needless to say, I'm grateful for this space that I am in. I'm grateful for the people who have been in my corner. Listen, this year, this year for me, honestly, has only been like a preview of what I believe that God is getting ready to do for me. And I had my highs, I had my lows, I've had my in betweens. However, just being on the other side of all of those, I'm still very grateful for everything that has happened, the lessons that I've learned, the losses that I've had to take, the things I've had to go without, the no's that I was given and I had to give, because it makes those yes moments so much more intentional. So this is just all a part of God's plan, and I am overly excited to just see where I can go from here, how I can grow from here, what I can learn from here, just the different accomplishments that that has taken place. So I'm super excited. I just want to continue to thrive in this atmosphere. I want to nurture this space because this is a safe space for me. And not only do I want this to be a safe space for me, I want it to be a safe space for the people that are listening. I want it to be a safe space for anybody that I come in contact with. So just the idea of being able to make it a safe space, it just truly makes my heart happy. One of the other things that I really, really kind of pondered on, I guess I would say, as of lately is just the the idea or the notion of like, y'all know the saying like, treat people how you want to be treated. Well, there's also this thing where it's like we tell people how to treat us, or we teach people how to treat us. And one thing that I personally have noticed for myself is that I have to be more gentle with myself. And I did say this before in a previous episode. I have to have more patience with myself. And I also have to have more patience with the people around me. But this is about me right now. I have to self reflect. I have to have more patience with myself, and I have to not have these overestimated expectations of myself. And that's just a very valuable lesson that I have learned is giving myself the same patience and grace that I would give someone else, and vice versa. Giving people the same patience and grace that I would also give myself. And it is a balancing act. It's I think it's harder for me personally to give myself grace than it is to give someone else grace, because in my head I'm like, girl, you knew better. Like you should have did, you 1000% should have did X, Y, and Z, and you didn't do it, and whatever. I have to work on that. I have to create that environment, continue to create that environment for myself where it's like, oh, okay, I had a tough day. Maybe I won't do a podcast episode, and that be okay. Whereas before, it's like, oh, I had a tough day. I didn't do a podcast episode. Well, guess what? You're not good enough to do a podcast anyway. You're not good enough to have a podcast. You don't have anything to say. So having the ability to just talk to myself in those moments from a positive aspect as opposed to a negative aspect is definitely something that I've learned and that I am learning. Everything that I say here, I don't think I've mastered any of it yet. It's still active. I'm still in class for all these things. So I am still learning how to do that and how to just be in that area of the unknown, because being in that area of the unknown is scary. It is tricky. However, as I mentioned before, sometimes that is where God does his biggest blessings, his biggest mind blowing work is in that area of the unknown. And it is ultimately just completely up to us on, are you going to trust me? Are you going to trust me when it's scary? Are you going to trust me when it's dark? Are you going to trust him when you don't know what's happening next? Are you going to trust him when you don't know what to do? Are you just going to trust him? And that's pretty much all I can do at this point is just trust him and continue to trust him and just see how far it'll take me, because not gonna lie, it's taking me pretty far. I mean, hey, everything's pretty where it's supposed to be. So just leaning into that more, trusting that, and giving myself the grace that I deserve and that I need is like absolutely the most important thing for me in this next season. So as I step into this new year of my life, my biggest intention is super, super simple. It honestly is to just live life to the fullest, plan things effectively, get away from psyching myself out of thinking that I can't do something, that I'm not good enough to do something, that I'm not qualified enough to do something. Because oftentimes the people that God used in the story and to do miracles and wonders were the people who everyone else thought wasn't qualified anyway. So leaning into my disqualifications, because just because you're disqualified does not mean by one person doesn't mean you're disqualified by someone else or something else. So leaning into that area of my life and that imposter syndrome portion, and focusing more on why I want to do something and the reason behind why I'm already doing something. Because 9 times out of 10, every time I reset myself and refocus back on those 2 points, nothing else matters. And I just want to sit in that space a little longer. I want to be way more consistent. I want to trust myself, trust my decision making, and believe that everything is going to work out exactly the way that it's supposed to work out, even when sometimes it don't look like it be working that way. And just be happy. I just want to continue to be happy. This past year, so amazing. so amazing with any of the ups, with any of the downs. It was still so amazing, and I'm so excited on where I'm going to head to next, what God has for me next. And I just really hope that, most importantly, everything that I do, it is a great reflection of who I am as a person, in my inner being, in my quiet moments, that I am able to exemplify that, and that I am able to be the light for anyone that needs a little bit of light. So with that, I mean, hey, here's to another year around the sun. One more lap. I've made one more lap, and I'm so happy that I was able to come back and give you guys just a little bit of a snippet on what that was like. So basically, in closing, I told y'all it was just vibes. I don't even know if I said anything that was going to make y'all be like, that was nice. That was interesting. I really don't know. Um, the most important thing is just trusting yourself, giving yourself grace. The year is about to end, but that does not mean your life is ending. Every day that God gives us is a new day to experience, to explore, to do great things. All of it is just another amazing opportunity. And we have to be grateful. We have to cherish those moments as they are. So I hope that this episode has inspired you in some way, shape, or form. Do me a favor and let me know, what are you changing going into the next year? Because I just had a birthday. So my year looks different than the actual calendar year. But what are you guys changing in the next calendar year? Or what are you improving? Let's improve. Let's not change. Let's improve. What are you guys looking to improve on in the next calendar year? Let me know. Let's talk about that. Let's get a conversation going. Let's build a little rapport, because I just be talking to y'all and y'all don't be talking back to me. So let me know. I want to know, because maybe it could also be something that I can add to my handy dandy notebook as well. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram at TLRP with Adriann. Check us out on YouTube. Be sure to share this with someone, especially if they're in a season of transition or transformation, because that honestly and truly is what this entire thing is all about. With this episode, the previous episodes, it's the ability to change, to transform, and to see when there is a need for it. Because if you do not see that there is a need for it, you will never do it. So make sure you are sharing this with someone. If it resonates with you at all, if you think it'll resonate with someone else, share it. Don't be stingy. Always, always, always make sure you come back and check me out in the living room. Peace.